The forest had gone mute after the search was called off. No birds, no rustling leaves, only a waiting stillness thick enough to make breath sound like breaking glass. When two rangers stumbled on the half-buried camera, its red light still blinked, steady as a pulse that refused to die. Whoever owned it hadn't been seen for 7 days. Inside the lens, time had kept breathing. What would you do if pressing play showed every friendly smile from work twisting into something feral? If the people you trusted most had walked straight into the woods and never walked back out. The first clip flickers to life. A bright campfire, laughter, and company logos shining on yellow tents. Everyone looks alive, relaxed. Yet in the trees behind them, the shadows lean closer, as though listening. Before the minute ends, one voice goes silent, and the forest begins to breathe for them. Inside the ranger station, the old monitor hums as Daniel and Marissa load the recovered memory card. The cabin lights flicker with every surge from the portable generator outside. The first video opens on static and then stabilizes. Evelyn's calm voice giving directions for a drone test, laughter echoing somewhere off camera. The sound is thin, distant, like hearing life from underwater. Daniel leans closer. Each new frame darkens slightly, as if the forest itself is drawing nearer. The laughter fades into wind. Something knocks against the microphone twice. When the image finally clears, the screen shows the same cedar tree where the camera was found. The timestamp is only an hour before Adam vanished. The next clip begins with the group hiking uphill, their laughter uneven, the sound of distant thunder following them. Evelyn leads, reading coordinates from a tablet. Marcus's voice trails behind her, joking about bonuses and exposure data. Nina records quietly, trying to keep up. The view shakes as Adam's breath quickens, every step crunching through damp leaves. Then the frame tilts. He pauses on something in the soil. A shallow indentation shaped like a footprint, but too long, too narrow. No one notices except him. He calls out. No reply. When the screen flashes white from lightning, Evelyn's silhouette stands at the ridge, still, as though listening to something above the storm. Back at the station, Daniel pauses the video, rewinds, and slows the playback. Marissa frowns. Something moves at the frame's edge. A second reflection of Evelyn that isn't synchronized with her real movement. For a heartbeat, it looks like she's standing in two places. They replay it, again and again, until the reflection flickers out. Static fills the room like whispering wind through a cracked window. Daniel tries to rationalize. Lens glitch, light anomaly. But his voice trembles. Marissa glances toward the window, where the tree line waits in complete blackness. She shuts the blinds. The humming generator outside falters. Once, then steadies. Near midnight, the storm quiets. Daniel steps outside for air, flashlight cutting thin beams through drizzle. The forest stands motionless, but the smell of wet pine mixes with something metallic, sharp. Inside, Marissa continues watching the footage. On screen, the co-workers sit around the campfire, faces half-lit, arguing softly about data collection. Marcus insists they push deeper the next morning. Evelyn wants to halt until Adam completes environmental readings. The audio pops, distorting her words into stat. For a split second, the frame tears, revealing dark shapes behind them, motionless. Marissa pauses, heart hammering. She hears a faint tap on the window. When Daniel returns, he finds her staring at the frozen image, whispering that something in the video just blinked. Rain still drums on the roof when a black SUV grinds up the muddy access road. Daniel and Marissa exchange a look. No one should be here before dawn. A man steps out in a dark coat, carrying a sealed briefcase. His badge bears the company's logo from the footage. He introduces himself as Cole Mercer, Compliance Division, and asks for the recovered camera. His tone is soft but final. Daniel hesitates, saying evidence must first be logged. Cole smiles without warmth. That footage is proprietary research. In the flicker of lightning, his shadow stretches far longer than it should. Behind him, the forest sways once, as if breathing with his words. Inside, Cole opens his briefcase. Neatly arranged non-disclosure forms, data drives, a sleek tablet. He says the footage was part of an ecological AI calibration study. Every sentence sounds memorized. Marissa watches raindrops slide down the window and realizes the wind has stopped completely. Cole plugs a drive into the laptop. The monitor flashes white, then shows a line of binary code rolling over Evelyn's frozen face. The image distorts, glitching into vertical bands. Daniel reaches to unplug it, but Cole calmly says, "Please, don't interrupt. It's syncing." The lights dim. The generator stutters twice. In the dark, a faint voice from the speakers whispers Evelyn's name. The code halts, replaced by a new clip. Marcus speaking directly into the lens. His expression is strained, joking tone gone. He says they found a resonance point where GPS fails and sound echoes wrong. His voice breaks, replaced by the hum of the wind. Cole pauses the video, studying the frame like a scientist observing a specimen. Marissa demands to know if this was some kind of experiment on people. Cole's gaze never lifts. "The environment records everything," he replies. Sometimes it plays back. Then he deletes the clip. Daniel lunges for the keyboard, but the file vanishes, no trace, not even in temp memory. Power cuts out. The screen dies, leaving only the ticking of rain on metal. Cole doesn't move. In the silence, a low, rhythmic sound rises from outside, the same pattern that thumped against the mic in the recovered footage. Daniel grabs a flashlight. Its beam slices across the wall, revealing moisture seeping through the wood in thin vertical lines, as if the cabin itself were sweating. Marissa swears she hears whispers beneath the rain. Cole calmly folds his briefcase. "You've seen enough," he says, voice steady. "Forget the coordinates. When power returns, the drive is gone, and so is he." After Cole's SUV vanishes down the trail, Daniel reboots the laptop. The directory is empty, but when he opens the recycle bin, a new folder appears, time-stamped minutes ago, Echolog 2. Inside are only audio files. They play one at a time. Evelyn's voice, Marcus's laughter, Adam counting softly under his breath. Then silence, followed by Daniel's own voice whispering lines he hasn't said. Marissa pulls the plug, heart pounding. The generator outside roars back to life on its own, drowning the forest in white noise. The monitor stays black, yet faint reflections move across its surface like faces seen through deep water. Dawn breaks in washed-out silver. The storm has ended, but the air feels heavier, as if the clouds still rest on the treetops. Daniel and Marissa step outside to inspect the ravine trail, guided by the coordinates that linger in their minds. Yet something has changed. Paths curve where they used to climb, and the cedar tree where they found the camera now stands deeper in the woods, its roots twisted like ropes. The forest smells of ozone and wet metal. Marissa marks the route with orange tape, but when they look back, the tape is gone. They exchange no words, only the shared awareness that the map in Daniel's hands no longer matches the land beneath their feet. They follow faint drone noises deeper into the trees, low, electric, and rhythmic like breathing through static. At a clearing, they find half-buried metal frames shaped like antenna towers. No markings, no serials, only corrosion and moss. Daniel brushes off one plate, revealing the company logo, the same as on Cole's badge. The sound recorder in Marissa's pack starts playing without being touched, Evelyn's voice repeating. "Point of return. Point of return." Marissa fumbles it off, but the echo continues, louder through the forest, as if something invisible is playing it back through the trees. Or Invisible is playing it back through the trees. They discover a rusted access hatch built into the hillside. Daniel pries it open. Stale air escapes, dry and unnatural amid the damp forest. Inside lies a short concrete corridor, its walls lined with dead monitors. Cables snake into the earth like veins. Faint light flickers at the far end. Against reason, they move forward. The corridor hums softly, and the screens blink to life one by one, each showing looping images from the footage. Evelyn laughing, Marcus gesturing, Adam adjusting focus. But the final screen shows the two of them, Daniel and Marissa, entering the corridor, seconds before it happens in real life. Marissa freezes before the looping image of Evelyn's face, now staring straight at the lens. The screen glitches, repeating her name, then morphs into static symbols. Daniel taps another monitor. It displays the forest canopy viewed from above. But the tree line forms perfect concentric rings, impossible geometry. "It's mapping us," Marissa whispers. The hum grows louder, turning into a low vibration underfoot. They retreat toward the exit, yet the tunnel feels longer than before, stretching with every step. When they emerge, the clearing has vanished. Only unbroken forest surrounds them. By late afternoon, they reach a ridge overlooking the valley. The GPS shows they've walked in circles, yet the sun has shifted west twice. Below, the ravine sparkles with what looks like water, but the reflections move independently of the wind. Marissa lifts her binoculars. Within the shimmer, shapes pulse like video frames replaying over each other. Daniel lowers his voice. "This isn't a place anymore. It's a recording." The forest hums softly, as if acknowledging him. Their radios crackle with a faint, calm voice. Dr. Rowan Pike, saying, "Welcome back to the experiment." Then silence. Night descends too quickly, the sky dimming as if someone turned a dial. Daniel and Marissa hike downhill, guided by the ravine's sound. Only now it pulses like breath, not water. Their flashlights flicker in sync, beams widening and narrowing together. Each time Daniel checks the compass, it spins, stops, and points behind them. When they finally break into a clearing, his stomach drops. The cedar tree stands there, its roots clutching the camera they already turned in. Marissa whispers, "We didn't walk back. It brought us." The forest hums approval, faint and rhythmic, like playback starting again. They play the camera out of desperation. The first frame shows them standing in this very spot, filmed from an unseen angle. The audio repeats their own conversation, but half a second ahead, like an echo predicting speech. Daniel waves his arm. The screen copies him before he moves. Marissa steadies her voice. "It's not recording us. It's remembering us." In the background of the footage, a new figure flickers. A silhouette wearing Cole Mercer's coat, motionless under the cedar. Lightning flashes. The real clearing is empty. They follow the echoing voice into the woods, calling their own names without realizing it. Every path leads to another fragment of the retreat. The fire pit, the tents, even a cold mug half filled with rainwater that steams as if fresh. Marissa kneels beside it, whispering that maybe they never left. Daniel records with his phone, thinking proof might anchor them, but the footage instantly timestamps a date from a week ago. He deletes it. The file reappears. Somewhere deeper in the forest, laughter starts. The same corporate laughter from the retreat, but looped, wrong, endlessly polite. They stumble into a ring of identical cedars, 12 trunks forming a perfect circle. At its center lies another camera, newer, dry, despite the damp air. Its screen already shows them approaching. Marissa whispers that every recording creates the next path. That's how the forest grows. Daniel wants to smash it, but can't lift his hand. The air feels heavier, magnetic. The camera's lens dilates like an eye, humming softly. The trees pulse once with light, their bark etched by faint circuitry veins. The hum stops. The silence afterward is absolute. At dawn, birds finally sing. Daniel wakes beside the cedar, unsure when he slept. Marissa is gone, but her voice hums softly from the camera speaker, reciting coordinates in a steady rhythm. He looks around. Fresh Ranger tire tracks cut through the mud. Another search team. Another beginning. He lifts the camera. The viewfinder shows fog clearing over a cabin where two figures, himself and Marissa, watch a monitor inside. He lowers it. The cabin stands empty in reality. The red light blinks once, steady, waiting for the next recording to start. 3 weeks later, another Ranger unit arrives after satellite pings pick up an unregistered signal from the valley. The forest looks newborn. New moss, new branches, no footprints. Ranger Lena Price takes point, noting how the air feels charged, like static before a storm. Her partner, Evan Rourke, jokes that the place seems to grow overnight. When they reach the cedar, the soil looks recently disturbed. Half buried among the roots rests a camera. Different model, yet blinking the same soft red. Lena hesitates before touching it. The lens tilts toward her hand, as if recognizing her. Inside their temporary field tent, the recovered footage loads. The first clip shows Daniel and Marissa walking through the same fog, their voices warped but calm. Lena adjusts the volume. Behind them, another pair of voices echo the same words half a beat later. Their own. Evan freezes. The audio syncs with their current conversation. He whispers, "It's hearing us." Lena shuts the laptop. The echo stops instantly. Outside, rain begins, though the forecast was clear. She notes the timestamp, exactly 3 weeks after Daniel vanished. They decide to trace the signal source. The tracker arrow swings toward the ravine, then circles back. Every path returns them to the same fallen log, marked now by orange tape older than any they placed. The forest hums faintly, matching the pitch of the camera's low battery tone. Evan suggests leaving the gear and hiking straight west. No compass. After an hour, the trail opens onto a clearing with tire tracks, old ones ending at thin air. A single boot print presses into the mud ahead, perfectly preserved, facing them. Back at camp, Lena reviews body cam footage. The playback begins normally, then skips forward, showing her and Evan asleep by the fire while their current selves watch the scream. She mutes the sound. Faint whispering still leaks through the speakers, repeating coordinates from previous reports. Evan shuts the lid, insisting it's corrupted data. Lena writes the coordinates down anyway. The ink bleeds on the damp page, forming a rough circle. The shape of the cedar grove from Daniel's map. At dawn, Lena packs the camera into an evidence case. As she snaps it shut, the red light flicks on inside the box. Evan watches the signal monitor. Its dot begins to move, though nothing in the case does. They step outside. Fog fills the valley. The same tone of light as every morning before the loop resets. Lena raises her eyes to the cedar line. The trees stand perfectly still, yet each trunk leans a fraction closer toward the case. She exhales and says quietly, "Maybe it's our turn to remember." The wind carries a single word through the leaves. Recording. 6 months later, at the company's headquarters downtown, the incident is summarized in a 2-page report. Field unit lost due to environmental interference. No mention of the recordings or the Rangers. In a glass conference room, analysts scroll through restored data, while an automated server copies every recovered file into a new drive labeled Echo Archive. When the system pauses to verify checksum, one thumbnail plays itself, a silent image of fog drifting through cedar trunks. The head analyst blinks, rubs her eyes, and it's gone. Outside the windows, wind passes through rooftop gardens that shouldn't be moving. The city air is still. Mira meets with Dr. Rowan Pike in the executive wing. He asks if the algorithm completed behavioral mapping. She hesitates before answering yes. The file produced strange patterns, clusters that form circular geometries like tree rings. Rowan signs approval without reading. Excellent. The forest is learning. His voice carries satisfaction rather than surprise. When she leaves, he opens a small device on his desk. Inside, a sliver of cedar bark sealed in glass. It hums faintly, responding to his tablet's idle pulse. That evening, Mira stays late. The security cameras loop each feed delayed by a few seconds. In the reflection of her monitor, another version of herself continues typing after she stops. She runs diagnostics. No anomaly detected. A notification flashes. Echo archive transferring. Destination unknown. She pulls the plug. The screens stay on, showing the forest canopy rippling in slow motion. Somewhere in the office network, the hum from Act 3's tunnel begins again, low and steady, syncing with the building's ventilation. Mira prints the archive index. The list scrolls endlessly. Thousands of files labeled with timestamps yet to occur. Each entry corresponds to weather patterns predicted weeks ahead. At the bottom, Valley Boot on. She opens it expecting code, but finds a single image. The cedar tree, under morning fog, a new evidence box at its roots. She realizes the forest isn't repeating. It's scheduling itself. The office lights flicker. The hum stops, replaced by faint bird song. Impossible in the sealed building. Morning arrives. Employees log in as usual. The building hums softly, perfectly ordinary. Only one monitor in the basement archive remains active, looping a still frame of the Cedar Valley at dawn. The image subtly shifts each cycle. New mist patterns, new shadows. Outside, commuters hurry beneath trees lining the avenue, unaware that each trunk bends just slightly toward the glass tower. Inside, the server room pulses once, red light blinking. Recording. A month after the company's archive quietly expanded, its data began syncing with public environmental servers. Across small towns near the valley, weather stations started broadcasting strange static under their wind readings. At first, no one noticed. Then hikers began reporting that their phones recorded mist even on clear days. The digital and the natural blurred. In a university lab miles away, a graduate intern named Sophia replays satellite footage and sees a pattern of light threading through the forest like a pulse. She assumes it's interference. Unaware, she's already saving the forest's heartbeat onto every server she touches. Sophia uploads her dataset to the National Cloud Network. The progress bar freezes at 99%, then completes with a soft chime. At the same moment, every office camera in the building flickers once. Maintenance staff assume a power surge. She checks her phone. The background photo, a mountain view, now shows mist moving slowly across it. She laughs nervously, thinking it's an animated glitch. In the reflection of her screen, the mist thickens, curling like breath on glass. A faint red blink appears at the corner. Steady, patient, recording. Across the city, commuters scroll through weather apps that now show live forest feeds instead of temperature data. Each stream loops silently, identical fog rolling through cedars. People think it's an update error. In cafes and subways, the same footage repeats on screens, uncaptioned, beautiful, hypnotic. No one realizes the clips change slightly every hour, the clouds drifting closer, the branches leaning forward. The world begins to carry the forest's quiet rhythm, pulsing through Wi-Fi signals and elevator speakers like a heartbeat woven into static. Back in the valley, the original cedar grove stands untouched. No search teams return. No new cameras appear. Yet faint red lights now blink beneath the bark like dormant embers. The wind carries fragments of recorded laughter and distant footsteps, looping endlessly. Birds nest in branches that hum when the sun sets. If anyone listened closely, they'd hear the same question whispering through the airwaves that once haunted Daniel and Marissa. How long can memory live before it becomes life itself? Late at night, Sophia closes her laptop. The hum of electronics fades, replaced by distant wind. She looks out the window. The city's streetlights shimmer as if underwater. On her desk, her phone lights up by itself. Screen black except for a small text. Recording. She doesn't react, just watches the word pulse. Outside, leaves on a nearby tree shift, though there's no breeze. Somewhere between the signal and the soil. The forest listens, remembering everything.